Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope all of you are doing well. And today I'm going to have another video talking about the Mio Mashup card game. I just recently finished all the cards for my first set called New Generation of Heroes. And today I'm going to go through all 100 cards in this set. So grab a snack, get comfy, and enjoy looking at these cards with me. So let's not waste any more time and talk about the first of the 10 rare cards, and that's Delta Warrior Maxim. You can see he's a 10 cost hero, 8 attack, 8 defense. His ability is he gets +2/+0 for each other character with Delta Warrior in its name you control, making him a very great finisher in a Delta Warrior focused deck. And he also has a great ability in Ward, which means opponents cannot choose him except when they're attacking him. So as I'm going through all these cards, I'm going to note some of the changes, small and large, that are coming to the Mio mashup as compared to their make-your-own card game counterparts. Next card I'm talking about is Destiny. 7 cost Spirit, 7/7. You reveal the top 7 cards of your deck. You may choose a card with power cost 7 or less from among them, play it for free, shuffle the other cards into your deck. So this is a pretty powerful card, especially if you're playing with a lot of these 7 cost cards in your deck. Now, it does kind of exist outside the 5 main archetypes for this set. If you haven't watched previous videos, you'll know that you should know that the main archetypes in the New Generation of Heroes set are, of course, heroes, Smalfry, machines, villains, and brawlers. This kind of fits outside of those, but it's still, I wanted to have a couple of cards that kind of go outside to open up some other possibilities for decks. And this is one of those cards. Next up is Enoch, a 3 cost psychic, 0 attack, 4 defense. Its ability states that the power cost of your opponent's action cards is increased by 1. Now, if you're familiar with this guy from the main Make Your Own card game, you'll know that he previously only affected normal action cards. This one affects all of action cards, but I've made a few changes to how the action cards are classified, and I'll go over those as I go over more of the cards in the set. Next up, J27 Combat Droid. 5 cost machine, 4 attack, 4 defense. When you play him, you can attach a modifier from your hand to this character, and he can have any number of modifiers attached to it. Typically, characters can have only one, but this is a card that can get around that restriction. And that's kind of what the machines do. They do a lot of things with modifier action cards, and this is meant to be the top end of a good offensive machine deck that plays a lot of equipment. You can build them up and make them really powerful. Next is King Smalfry. 6 cost Smalfry, 4 attack, 4 defense. And is meant to represent the Smalfry archetype. When he attacks, he gets +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the total attack among other Smalfry you control. So if you have a board of Smalfry, let's say you have 4 other Smalfry, including this guy, who each have 2 attacks, so he would get the attack rating of all those other Smalfries, so that he would get 4 + 8 attack and be hitting for 12, which is pretty powerful if you can get a board full of Smalfry characters and you swing in for a bunch. It's pretty nice. Next is Malfeor, Shadow Dragon Lord, 9 cost, 10/8. He's a dragon villain, and when you play him, you just simply void target character. It's basically, this is one of the kind of terms I'm introducing to the game. It basically means you just remove the card from the game instead of discarding it. That's what void means. Just kind of a nice simple little word there to describe that action. Up next is Malicious Master Max, a 9 cost brawler, 12 attack, 6 defense. When he attacks, you choose another brawler you control other than those named Malicious Master Max and attack with it. So if you have a couple other brawlers in play, you attack with Master Max first, and then you choose one of your other brawlers to do a follow-up. It's pretty nice. It's a way to cap off the brawler deck and really finish off your opponent. Next is Return of the Ooze. No version of the Make Your Own card game is complete without this guy. It's just kind of iconic, especially among myself and my brother. 6 cost 0/7 slime. Your opponents lose 2 life at the end of each of their turns, and the other auto ability on him states that when he's destroyed by battle, the attacking player loses 5 life. So it's a nice big high defense character you can sit behind if you're playing some kind of control style deck. It can slowly whittle away your opponent over time with him. It's pretty powerful. I did make one slight wording change. Instead of like KO'd, I have destroyed. It just kind of unifies all the cards so that when a card is, that all cards get destroyed instead of just some saying they're KO'd, others are not. Just kind of wanted to make that little simple change. Next is Scion, another Psychic, 2/8, 6 costs. When you play him, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, rearrange them in any order. And then he also has an activated ability. I changed how activated abilities are worded. You'll notice this OPT near where the cost is. That when you see that, you know that you can only use that ability on him once per turn. And what does his ability do? You choose a player, and they discard the top 2 cards of their deck. Pretty nice little ability there. Final rare is Zemos, 5 cost villain, 5/3. When you play him, you search your deck for a villain character with power cost 3 or less, and you put it into play. Notably, the previous version of this card worked with any character with cost 3 or less, but I decided to make him work with villains only, and there's some pretty interesting villains you can get with him, as we will see going forward. That about does it for the rares. Now I'm going to move on to the uncommons, starting with Apocalypse Now, a normal action that simply says destroy all characters. Now, if you notice as I was going through, all the cards that I previously showed off have a red border, and this one has a yellow border. So the card borders are a way to indicate what type the card is. Red is for character cards, yellow is for action cards, and there's also blue and green, which represent their own types, which we'll see as we go forward. And speaking of which, we've got Bonus Ring. This is representative of a new type of card called Relics. So relics are meant to be cards that stay in play to provide a continuous effect. They'll have a blue border like this. This one's called Bonus Ring. It's 3 cost, and the modified character gets, whenever he attacks, you draw a card. Pretty nice little piece of equipment that rewards you for attacking. Modifiers in Make Your Own used to be action cards, but in this version, Mio Mashup, they're called relics. And that kind of opens up possibilities for other types of relics in the future, and I kind of wanted to open that up. Next is Burst Attack, 4 cost action. You get to destroy a character and then draw a card. It's a pretty simple card, not much to say. Up next is Call of the Heroes, 5 cost normal action that lets you search your deck for up to 2 heroes, reveal them, add them to your hand. Pretty nice card to have in a hero deck. Next is Delta Warrior Aero, 3 cost 2/1, who is a hero. When you play her, you return an opposing character to its owner's hand, so it can get rid of a character temporarily. It also has Evasive, which, if you've seen a previous video, is the changed version from the Make Your Own card game, where basically whenever a character attacks it, you have to flip a coin, and if you get heads, you get to negate that attack. And if the attacking character has Evasive, you don't have to flip the coin. And I really like this artwork of Aero, who's just kind of flying. You got the rainbow in the background. It's very nice. It's probably my favorite art of this character that I've drawn. Next is Delta Warrior Akai, 7 cost 5/5, another big Delta Warrior for your deck. He gives all your other Delta Warriors +1/+1, and whenever you play a character with Delta Warrior in its name from your hand, you draw a card. It's a pretty nice guy to have in your Delta Warrior deck, if I do say so myself. Up next is Delta Warrior Flora Skye, who got a pretty big rework from her Make Your Own counterpart. 3 cost 2/4. When you play her, you look at the top card of your deck. You may either add the card to your hand, or you add it to your resource zone spent. The card is basically becomes the same as a PowerPoint token if you do the latter option. Previously, this was a card that would passively gain you life, and it had an activated ability where you would discard a card to draw a card. But I think the set needed a few more ramping options, and I decided to make Delta Warrior Flora Skye into one of those options. And it actually works well with the other Delta Warriors, considering some of them are pretty high cost, like Maxim, as you saw at the beginning of this video. Up next is Delta Warrior Gale. 2-cost hero. You get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose a hero from among them, put it in your hand. There's a couple of archetype cards that are like this, and this is the one for the heroes. Misfortune, I kind of have to change that. I forgot to give the frame on this, but I'll go back and change it. It's 5 cost 4/4. Its ability is pretty powerful in the right circumstances. Other characters in play, in each player's hand, and in each player's discard pile, have no abilities while this character remains in play. It can lock down your opponent's strategies in some situations, though it does affect your characters too, so watch out for that. Up next is Delta Warrior Reylam. 4 cost 4/3 hero. You play him from your hand, you make your opponent discard a card, and based on the cost of that discarded card, they lose that much life points. It's a pretty powerful way to get some extra damage in. It's a pretty nice card. Delta Warrior Shadra. He's a 7/4 for 6. His activated ability costs 2 power, and you can use this ability on your combat step instead of attacking. And the ability deals X damage to target player, where X is equal to the number of characters with Delta Warrior in their names you control. So this is kind of a nice ability to have in a more controlling style, hero-focused deck. As I've mentioned in a previous video, heroes are pretty flexible considering how many of them there are in this set. They can kind of go in whatever direction they want, and for a controlling type of hero deck, you'll want a card like this to be able to passively deal damage to your opponent while you're trying to lock down their board. It's pretty nice. Poque, a 5-cost villain, 5/5. Its activated ability states that once per turn for 2 power, you look at the bottom 4 cards of your deck, choose one of them, shuffle your deck, and put that card on top. It's a nice bit of deck manipulation for your villain deck. There's a couple more villains that have abilities like this, and we'll see some of them as we go along. Up next is Essence of the Stars, another modifier. 4 costs, modified character gets +4/+4. Pretty simple card, but pretty powerful as well. Exchange, 3 costs normal action. Each player counts the cards in their hand, shuffles their hand into their deck, and draws that many cards. It's pretty nice. Quarter of the way through now, we've got Fix It, a normal action for 2 that lets you either return a relic card or a machine character in your discard pile to your hand. So if you're playing a machine deck, you'll want to at least play Fix It. But if you're not playing machines, you can toss this into any deck that's playing a ton of relics. Right now, the only relics in the game are modifiers, but still, it's a nice card to have. Up next is Frozen Cave. This is the domains, which used to be called terrains in the Make Your Own card game. They're now called domain cards. This one is 4 cost, and it states that characters with power cost 7 or more cannot attack on the same turn they enter play. So this can ruin some decks out there that have a lot of high cost cards. And as you can no doubt see, domain cards have a green border around them. Up next is Jake, who's basically a version of Delta Warrior Gale, but this time he works with the machine cards. Only a 1/1 though, instead of a 2/2. But it's still very useful in any machine deck. Jake's Net Search, a 4-cost normal action that lets you get some card selection. You just look at the top 6 cards of your deck, choose up to 2 of them, and you put them in your hand. The rest go on the bottom of your deck. It's a nice bit of card selection there. Up next is Locke, 4-cost bird, 2/2, evasive. And when you play him, you get to return an action card of power cost 3 or less from your discard pile to your hand. So there are some good targets that are action cards that are good at power cost 3 or less. We'll probably see some of them. So it's a good way. It's actually the only way of getting action cards back in set 1 at the moment. So it's a very nice card you'll want to have, especially if you have some action cards you want to reuse. Next is Multiman, 4 cost. His attack and defense are unknown, but that's because of his on-play ability, where you choose a character in play, and he essentially copies the card. Its attack, defense, abilities, type, you name it. Basically becomes a copy of that card as long as he's on the field. So it's a pretty nice way of being able to copy your opponent's stuff and get some extra mileage out of them. Overdrive Man, pretty popular card for Make Your Owns. He's here in Mio Mashup. Pretty much the same as he was back then. 5 cost, 15 attack, 0 defense. And whenever he attacks, you lose life equal to half the damage it deals to the opponent rounded up. Very powerful aggro card. You'll be seeing a lot of him if you decide to play an aggro deck. Recon, normal action, 4 cost. You look at your opponent's hand, then you discard as many cards as you like from your hand and draw that many cards plus 1. So the Recon will at least be replacing itself, and you'll be able to get some card advantage while you get to see what your opponent is hiding. Recycle Arm, another 4 cost action. You choose up to 3 cards in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. Very nice card for any grindy deck that wants to slowly attrition your opponent out. Shadow Dragon, 4 cost dragon villain. 8 attack, 2 defense, so good stats. But whenever you attack, you have to choose him. So kind of unfortunate if you have other cards you want to attack with, but if he's the only good attacker you've got, he's pretty good to have. Next is Shield Wall, another machine character. He has the taunt ability, means opposing characters must attack characters with taunt first. And whenever he's destroyed by battle, you draw a card. It's a pretty nice defensive wall, and one of my favorites from Make Your Owns, had to put it in here. Next we got Shirk Deio, 4 cost 3/3 that gives your hero characters +1/+1. It also includes and extends to himself, so he'll basically become a 4/4. And when you play him, he deals 2 damage to target player. Pretty nice card to have in any aggressive hero-focused deck. Up next is Smalfry Messenger. Exactly the same as Jake, only he grabs Smalfry characters from the top 5 cards of your deck. Pretty good to have in a Smalfry deck. Next you got Subaru, 3 cost 3/3, and for 3 power, you can use this ability whenever this character is attacked or affected by a card effect. And you just simply get to negate it. It's a pretty nice bit of protection as long as you have the power to be able to use it. Pretty good card right here. Up next is Swiss Army Droid, a machine that costs 4, 3 attack, 3 defense, and it gets +1/+1 for each modifier you control. Normally, characters can only equip 1 modifier at a time, like I've said previously, but this is another way to reward you for having multiple modifiers in play. He'll be able to get +1/+1 for each of them. And if you happen to have J27 Combat Droid as well, you'll be able to get +1/+1 for each modifier attached to him too, which is really strong if you can get this going. Final card of the uncommons is Will the Wonder Kid. This is actually a new card that I've introduced to the game. He's a 4 cost hero, 3 attack, 5 defense. When you play him, you gain 2 life, and whenever a hero character you control attacks, you gain 1 life. So again, in a more controlling style hero deck, this is a great way to stay alive while you try to wear your opponent down. It's a very nice card. And that does it for the uncommons. Next we go to the commons. Battle Rush is the first of these. 3 cost, normal action. During your combat step, you get to attack with up to 2 different characters this turn. So any 2 characters you control, they'll be able to attack. So it's a great way to get in more damage in an aggro deck. Up next is Biggen Tall, another new character to the game. 3 cost 4/2 brawler. He has the taunt ability, as well as the ability when he's destroyed by battle, he deals 2 damage to target player. Really fits in with that aggressive strategy, while also being a slightly defensive card. Even though it has a little less defense than you would expect a taunt character to have, Still pretty nice in that brawler deck. Works well with that power curve. Next is Buddy, a brawler. If you control a character named Dexter, he gets +2/+2. We'll see Dexter in a little bit, but this 2/2 becomes a 4/4 if you control both Buddy and Dexter. And Dexter has a similar ability as well. Chase is a 2-cost 2/1 ninja who has the critical ability. Whenever he attacks a character, destroy it. It's a pretty nice little removal piece you'll want to have. In his Make Your Own counterpart, he had an ability that you could activate and he could attack directly. I decided to change it to critical to give the game a few more removal options at that common level. Citrus, he's 3-cost 4/1 hero with a new keyword ability in Overrun. Whenever he attacks a character and ties, it wins instead. So to give an example, if Citrus attacks a character with 4 defense, he'll actually win that battle instead of being tied, meaning he'll stay on the field while the other character gets discarded. Whereas otherwise, if he didn't have Overrun, both Citrus and that card would be discarded. Cloe also has a new ability, 2-cost 2/0 with assist. So whenever another character you control attacks, you add the attack of this to it until end of turn. Notably, Cloe can't add the bonus to herself. So instead, what you do is you choose a different character, and Cloe would add her attack to it. So if you were attacking with Citrus, for example, and Cloe was also on the field, Citrus would have 6 attack instead of 4 for the turn. Pretty nice. Coach's Challenge, a 2-cost counter action, first of these. As you can see, actions have 2 classifications, normal and counter. Counters you can typically play at any time, usually under specific conditions. This is basically when you can play when your opponent plays an action card, and you just get to negate it. It's a pretty nice card to have. Coin of Plenty, the other major ramp option. 2-cost 0/0. It can't attack, but as long as it's in play, you get to treat it like another PowerPoint token. So it's another way of extending the amount of PowerPoint tokens you have to be able to play your good cards much quicker that are higher cost. Combat Droid is a simple machine, 2-cost 3/1. Not much to see here. Delta Academy, this is the other major terrain in domain. Still getting used to that. 2 costs, and it gives all hero characters +1/+0. And domains, if you're not familiar with how terrains work, are basically like the stadium cards from Pokemon. They're a shared space that affects all players with a constant ability while they're in play. And basically, you can get rid of them by playing a different domain card of a different name. Up next is Delta Warrior Blitz. Pretty iconic card from the Make Your Own card game, and is pretty much unchanged here. 1-cost 2/0. When he attacks a character, destroy it. What more could you ask for? Delta Warrior Bouldor, 7-cost 7/5, who has that Overrun ability, meaning except he can deal with much bigger characters than Citrus can. He's pretty nice. Delta Warrior Friya, 4-cost 2/5. Her activated ability states once per turn, you choose an opposing character, and for 2 power, you can prevent that character from attacking until the end of its owner's next turn. So, in any control-focused Delta Warrior deck, you can play a card like this to really slow your opponent down. Delta Warrior Hydro is another card that can be good in kind of any kind of hero deck, really. 6-cost 5/4. Whenever he attacks, you get to draw a card. But if you do, you discard a card. It's a good way of churning through your deck while you attack your opponent. It's pretty nice. Delta Warrior Lumia, 2-cost 1/3. And she also has that assist ability. So it's a pretty nice card to have in a more offensive Delta Warrior deck. If you're going wide, you can have cards with assists like this to give your main attacker some extra oomph. Delta Warrior Monty, 4/12 for 8. Pretty powerful card here, and whenever he attacks, he gets +2/+0 until end of turn, so he's basically a 6 attack. So he's basically a 612 when he's attacking, so definitely want to keep an eye on him. Delta Warrior Pyro, 5 cost, 5/4. You can destroy him as a cost to activate his ability and just destroy the opposing character. It's another nice removal option if you're playing a hero-focused deck. Here's Dexter. I've talked about him previously, but he's pretty much basically buddies. And if you have both Dexter and Buddy, they basically turn from 2/2s to 4/4s, and they also go right into that brawler deck of being super aggressive. Disruptive Wave, 2 cost, normal action. Characters your opponents control get -0/-2 until end of turn, so reduces the defense of your opponent's characters, allowing you to swing in for some extra damage. Pretty nice to have in a more aggressive deck. Dragonbot, 8 cost, 8/8. Pretty simple machine. Not sure you'd play it in every machine deck, but it's a pretty powerful card nonetheless if you just want a big beat stick. Nothing wrong with that. Drill Arm, 2 cost relic modifier. It gives any character critical, so any character can essentially become like Chase or Delta Warrior Blitz if you have this attached. It's pretty nice. Fluff Token, only 0 cost card in the game. 0 attack, 0 defense. And if he happens to be destroyed by battle, you do not lose life points. It's a nice bit of defense that any deck can easily include. Friya, 1 cost, 1/1, Psychic. It has a once per turn activated ability for 1 power. You can look at the top card of your deck, and you can choose to put it on the top or bottom of your deck. Nice bit of deck manipulation so you can see what's coming next. Gun Booster, pretty classic card from the Make Your Own card game. 2 cost modifier, gives that character +3 attack. A must-have in any aggressive deck. Hammerbot, 5 cost, 4/4. Is only instead of critical like it had in Make Your Own, it has Overrun, so whenever he attacks and ties, he wins that battle instead. Pretty nice card still. Heroic Assembly, first time seeing this this is another new card that's being added to new generation of heroes. It's a 2 cost normal action that allows you to create 2 1/1 hero character tokens with assist. So basically it's another way of getting some extra power onto the board that you can use to power up your main attacker. It's pretty nice. Johnny Lockjaw Jones, a brawler, 4 cost, 8/1. Sometimes you just need a high attack character that you can put down and deal some damage. It's pretty nice. Kyle also fits in with that aggro theme. It's a 5 cost, 4/4 that when you play him, he gets +4/+0 until end of turn. So he will get 8 attack, but only on the first turn he comes in. So you'll want to time him well to take advantage of that. Lifeguard, it's another counter action for 1. And if you received combat damage, you can play this card to prevent that damage. Pretty cheap and can save you in a tight spot. You got Matt, who's a 5 cost, 6/3, and he has the evasive ability, so he can stick around for a bit while dealing some serious damage. It's pretty nice. Nathan is the kind of the basic 1 cost, 1/1 for the heroes. It's just kind of a simple card to have. Paranormal Researcher, he's a 2 cost human for 1 attack, 1 defense, and when you play him, you get to draw a card. Sometimes you need an ability like that. Poque Minion, he's also a 1 cost, 1/1, but for the villains instead of the heroes. Also striking a cool pose there. Pretty familiar if you know what that is. Comment below. Poque Ninja, this is one of those cards I mentioned is good with Zemos, as I mentioned way earlier in this video. 3 cost, 3/2 with critical. Whenever he attacks a character, destroy it. So you can play Zemos, you can get this out and easily remove a character. It's pretty nice to have. Poque's Assistant, this acts as kind of a draw engine for the villains. 3 cost, 0/3. Once per turn, you can pay 1 power to draw a card, then discard a card. Very welcome addition to any villain deck. And yes, in fact, this is where Flora Skye's previous activated ability has gone. It's gone here. Psychic Pondering, and it's another bit of deck manipulation. For 1 cost, you get an action that lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you get to put them on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. Punching Bag fits in with the Brawlers. 2 cost, 3/2. Pretty simple, but fits in with that curve. They have a pretty good card on 1, 2, 3, and 4 they're able to play out and really build up that damage. Quick Draw, this is a 1 cost normal action that lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, add one of them to your hand and discard the other card. Now, this is also a bit interesting in that it's the only card I have that doesn't have any flavored text. You'll notice that a lot of the other cards I have shown off so far do have flavored text. This one doesn't, and that's because it's kind of an abstract card and I couldn't really think of any kind of text to put on there. And maybe I can think of something, or if you guys have suggestions, you can comment below. Can't hurt to ask, I figure. Redirect. Counteraction for 3. When an opponent attacks, you get to change the target of the attack to another in-play character. And yes, you can even choose your opponent's characters and make your opponent's characters attack their other characters. It's pretty funny. Up next is Reflex Guard. 2 cost counteraction that simply negates an attack if you just want to stop an attack instead of messing with how the attack turns out. You can play this instead. Pretty good card to have. Revival Ray. Normal action that for 2 lets you return any character in your discard pile to your hand. So whatever deck you're running, if it's very character focused, and you can play something like this to get a key character back if you need it. Sam, 3 cost, 3/3. Nothing special to say, but he's still pretty cool. Shield Booster, a relic modifier, 2 cost, and it gives the character +3 defense instead of +3 attack. Maybe in some kind of defensive deck you'll play something like this to have a character who could stall your opponent out. Might have some application, who knows. But it will also increase that modifier count for Swiss Army Droid if you happen to play that too. Shield Drone, 2 cost, 0/4 with Taunt. It's a nice bit of defense for any machine deck, or any deck in general if you want to play it there. Sinister Plot, another classic card. 1 cost, normal action. You just discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Allows you to get rid of your opponent's resources. It's pretty nice. Smalfry, 2 cost, 2/2. It's pretty much the basic character for the Smalfry archetype. It's a pretty nice card to have. And a lot of these Smalfry, if you're familiar, tend to have 2 costs. So we'll see a few more of those coming up. And here's one of them. It's Smalfry Brothers. It's a 4 cost 2/2, which doesn't sound particularly impressive at first. But when you play him, you get to create a 2/2 Smalfry character token. So you're basically getting 4 total power onto the board divided among 2 characters. This does play pretty nicely with the King Smalfry too, giving him just a bit more oomph when he attacks. Smalfry Warrior, 2 cost, 4/0. Nothing to say here except he's the more aggressive Smalfry. Smalfry Wizard is a 2 cost 1/1 that once per turn you can activate his ability for 2 power to give all your Smalfrys a +1/+0 until end of turn. So he'll give them a nice little buff. Steady Shot, 3 cost normal action that lets you destroy target character. This is pretty much the going rate for a removal action card in this game. Pretty nice to have. We saw Burst Attack earlier that lets you draw a card in addition to destroying a character. But this is a little cheaper that just gives the destroy a character portion. It's still a pretty good card to have. Up next is Stone Guardian. It's 6 cost material character, 3 attack, 9 defense with Taunt. Pretty nice card to have in any defensive deck. It's just a nice wall to have to defend against your opponent with. Super Coin, 3 costs, normal action. Your opponent flips a coin, draw 2 cards. Why did your opponent flip a coin? Who knows, but no matter which way it flips, you're always a winner. It's a pretty good draw card. for any kind of deck to run. Supply Crate, 3 cost normal action, you gain 4 life and draw a card. If you need some life, you can play this to top yourself off and get an additional card in the process. Surveillance Droid, 1 cost machine, 0/2. When you play it, you get to look at your opponent's hand. Can be pretty helpful in some situations. Sword and Shield, 2 cost modifier that basically gives a character +1/+1. Pretty basic piece of equipment you can put into your deck. Although if it were up to me, I'd play Gun Booster over this, but this can still be pretty nice as well. Up next is Tobias Jackson, a 1 cost brawler, 1 attack, 1 defense, and when you play him, he gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So if you happen to go second and you play him on your first turn, he'll be a 3/1 for that turn, and you'll be able to really be off to the races in a brawler deck. Pretty nice to have if you're going aggressive. Truce is good, conversely, in a defensive deck. For 2 costs, you get an action that lets neither player be able to attack until the start of your next turn. Up next is Victoria Quether, 3 cost hero, 1 attack, 4 defense with assist, so she'll be able to buff all your other heroes or any character you want attacking, however small it may be. And next we have her brother Vincent, 3 cost hero, 3/4 with taunt. It's a pretty good defender to have. And the final card, of course, is Winged Smalfry, a 2 cost 2/0 Smalfry with the evasive ability. It's pretty nice and a pretty annoying card to boot in the right situation. And that about does it for all the cards in set 1. Thank you very much for watching this video. We're going for quite a while, almost 40 minutes, but still had a lot of cards to go through. I wanted to talk about all of them in some way. Again, thank you very much for watching this video and sticking around. If you made it this far, definitely leave a like on this video and comment below which of these cards was your favorite and which ones you're most excited to play. As for the next steps as to how I'm getting this set released, I'm still going to put these cards on untap. I'm going to be spending the next month trying to do some play testing, really adjust all these cards and get them right. And then I'll be able to be ready to release this set in February. I still have a few other packaging things to work on still, but we're getting one step closer every day to releasing the set. So I'm pretty excited to get these cards into your hands finally. I'll see you in whatever video I upload next, and take care.